Hello, welcome to today's webinar on Microsoft Teams. My name is Colin Thorpe from AMT Evolve, and today I'm just going to spend half an hour showing you some of the basic features of Microsoft Teams and explaining a little bit about how it can be used within your organization. Teams is a fairly new product from Microsoft. They've been investing lots of resources into developing it, and they very much see it as core to their modern digital workspace environment that they're creating. It's designed so that people can come in and work within Microsoft Teams for their day-to-day work, creating work groups which represent a project or a team of people that they're working with, and a place where all the information relating to that group of people is stored and can be shared within that group. You can use it to have chats where that information is stored all in one place. You can very quickly set up conference calls and video calls. You can store files and documents, and that's got all of the functionality of SharePoint to make sure that versions of documents and the safety and security of them is done really well. You can create plans and task lists and calendars. You can even use it to bring in applications from outside of Microsoft that your team might want to use, so that you can work with those and interact with those all in the same place. There are really good desktop apps for it. There are really good mobile apps so that you can get to the information from wherever you are. Even though it's a new product, it's been very well thought through, and there's more features being added all the time. If you can't use it to do what you want and you want to extend it, there's a very good development platform. You might want to use this to bring in company data, company information, reports, so that, again, all of the information that a team or a project needs to do its work is there all in one place. So what we're going to do, like I say, we're going to dive into a demonstration of it. If you'd like to ask questions, please use the chat window that's on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll come back to those at the end and try to answer any questions that you might have. So this is Microsoft Teams. What you're seeing here is the web app, which you access through the Office 365 on your web browser. You also have a desktop app, which is a recommended way of using it. It's really just a wrapper around the web app, so it's got very similar functionality, but it's just more responsive, and you also have notifications when chats come in for you. You also have a mobile app, and again, that's great because you get notifications when you're on the move, and you can just very quickly jump in and see what's going on with your teams. So the main view is the Teams view. So you've got various views down the left-hand side here. On the next panel, you've got all of the teams that you're a member of. So in a large organization, you can have many teams, so that you can get them organized. You can very quickly go in, find the team that you want, and add it to your favorites list, which is what you're seeing here. Within each team, you have a number of channels. And this is a great way to organize the work. So the concept is you set up a team, and the team is the people that you work with for a similar aspect of your daily work. This can be a project that you're working on with other people. It can be your team, so the finance team or the marketing team, or really any special interest where you need to bring a group of people together and collaborate. One thing to note with the teams and the channels is that you can control who's got access to a team, but the channels always get the same permissions as the team that they belong to. So you can't create a channel and then restrict that channel to only certain members of the team. If you're in the team, you can see everything in all of the channels. That's just one thing to bear in mind when you're deciding how to organize things. When you first set up a team, you get the general channel. And this comes with just 3 tabs at the top. The first tab is for conversations. So Teams really revolves around conversations. And these are a bit like Skype chats, where you can join people into a chat and have very quick, very short discussions about various topics, or just ask a quick question. The difference is within a team conversation tab, all of these conversations are stored. So at any point within the life cycle of the project, anybody coming into the project can go back and have a look at all the previous discussions. And as you can see, the discussions are also threaded, so this is working pretty much like Facebook. So you're having conversations, and for any of the conversations that you can see, you can hit reply, and you can type in an answer or just carry on with a conversation that you were having earlier. So let me just type a reply to this. There we go. And it's very easy to just go in, dive in, chat. Down the bottom of the chat, so you can make things look a bit more interesting. So you've got some very simple editing tools here. So add a bit of text in there, and fairly obviously, really, I can make it bold and underline things, highlight things. So for the creatives out there, you've got a certain number of tools to make things look a bit whizzy. We can add files into the chats. We've got emojis. We've even got, this is sort of reasonably new things if you want to get really creative, depending on obviously the culture within your organization. There we go, you can just start to do all sorts of weird and wonderful things, and you can turn these off at an administration level if this really is too much for you as an organization. So we can build up fairly attractive conversations. Then this is something that we use internally. This is very much an internal tool. If you're wanting to collaborate with teams that are outside your organization, you might want to look at Office 365 groups, which sit as part of Outlook. These are replacements for distribution groups in Outlook. And what they do is they gather together email conversations. So you set up a distribution email address. Anybody, whether internally or external to the organization, can participate in email conversations there, and the conversations there are stored as threaded emails. Now we use those very much for projects that we're running for clients, and that means that the clients that we're working with, they can just CC in that email address, and all of those conversations that we're having as we run projects are then gathered in and stored all in one place. Somebody joins a project halfway through, they can hop in and they've got the whole conversation history of that. That's great for collaborating outside of the organization. Teams is very much currently aimed at collaborating within an organization. So this is connected to your Active Directory domain, and you can come in here, you can mention people. It's very much linked in with your internal Office 365 tenancy. Microsoft are working on enabling external people to get into this and take part in it. That's really something for your organization to think about. My view is tread very carefully, because chat is a fairly informal way of communicating, and if you start giving external people access into your internal chat mechanisms, then there's obvious risks within that, really. If we scroll down here, you'll see that a document's been uploaded using the little button at the bottom. Uploading documents into a conversation is a great way to have collaboration around a document that your team's working on. You simply upload the document, click on the document, and this will open in preview mode from within the Teams interface. And then you get a dedicated chat down the right-hand side that people can use just to have discussions, give feedback, ask questions, whatever you want, really. So rather than actually putting comments within the document that then have to be tidied up, it's all self-contained within the chat here. If anybody needs to make changes to the document, you can do this very easily, either right from within Teams. You can open up Word on your desktop and edit it in there, or hop over into Word Online. So let me just edit it in Teams just to prove that this works. And within the Teams interface here, we get the document with all of the basic Word Online editing facilities that you have. Because it's Word Online, as you're working on it, all the changes are being saved, and you can have multiple people working on the document at the same time, just in the normal way that you'd work with Office 365. those conversations that you've been having about the document while the document's open, they'll come down here into your channel. So anybody browsing through this conversations tab to see what's been going on within the team can see all of the work that's been done on the document and take part in the discussion from here if they want to. So this really is a powerful interface for getting all of your work done together. The next tab at the top is the Files tab. When you create a team, behind the scenes, Office 365 provisions a SharePoint team site. And this is a full-blown team site, so you've got calendars, you've got OneNote files. But the main reason it does this is to give you a document library so that you can store documents, and you've got all of the really nice features that you get within SharePoint. So you've got version control, you can check in, check out documents, you can add taxonomy to your document library if you want. But really, it's just a good place to keep all of the documents for this part of your team or your project together. Because this is a document library within Office 365, it's really easy to get files up into here. The most straightforward way is just to open File Explorer, select a file, and drag and drop it in. Okay, that's that file uploaded. You'll also notice that the file that we were looking at a minute ago, which is this SharePoint Online Power User Guide, that's gone into your file library as well. So any files that you're adding into your conversations appear here so that everybody can get quick access to them. If you want to organize them, you can add folders in and organize your files in a slightly better way. The third tab that you get when you create a new channel is the Wiki tab. This is a great place for quickly compiling notes to do with your project. You could use this for taking meeting minutes or setting agendas, gathering notes from ad hoc conversations that are having in the meeting, or just recording things that you want to be a bit more organized than in a conversation so people can refer to it during the running of the project. What you can then do is add any number of other tabs, and this is where Teams is great because you can really extend what you can do with it. What we have here is a Planner tab. Planner's a fantastic tool, a member of the Office 365 family, and it's a great way of allocating and organizing tasks for a team or for a project. It's sort of a cross between creating a normal task list like you would in SharePoint and producing a Microsoft project plan. So it's not as complex as a project plan, but it's very visual and very easy to use. The concept behind Planner, I'm not going to spend too long on it, but you have a number of buckets, and we like to organize them a bit like a Kanban board. So we've got to do, scheduled, doing, and done. And then you very quickly add in tasks. So webinar for next month. Give a task a due date, assign it to a member of the team, and that's that done. So we've created a task, and then as tasks get worked on, we can simply move them along the line. And so we very quickly created a Kanban board. You don't have to use it for a Kanban board. These buckets can be anything you want. Planner is a fantastic tool. One thing to remember with Planner is the view that you get here within Microsoft Teams isn't the full functionality of the products. So if you jump out to the website, you get all sorts of really nice views. You can get the statistics to see how many actions are in progress, how many are overdue, how many are allocated to different people. It really is a very good tool, which again, it's very early days for the tool, and Microsoft are working hard on improving it. But we're starting to use this a lot within our organization just to get our work a lot better organized. We click on the plus button here. You can see the different types of tabs that you can add into the planner. You've got plenty of Microsoft ones to choose from at the top. So if you want to take a document that we're working on, and this is the main thrust of this channel, you can actually create that as a document and have it as a tab in its own right. In fact, if we go back into the file, into the document library, you'll see on the menu against the documents here, we can make this into a tab. And what that does, in fact, let's do that. Okay, so we've created a tab here, and the tab is the documents, and this tab will also have conversations that we can have around the documents. So it's open the documents in the same way as before, and clicking on the conversations button here, we've now got a self-contained tab with everything regarding that document going on in here. This is what we've done with a presentation. So we're producing a presentation for a project, or we use this for tenders. The main presentation goes in here, and you can work on the presentation as well as having discussions around it. The thing you also see within the add a tab frame is all sorts of apps that you can add in which are nothing to do with Microsoft. Microsoft's realizing that they can't do everything, and other companies are producing products that their clients want to use, and people want to use these products at the same time as using Microsoft as a framework that sort of glues everything together. So what you can do, you can take these products that Microsoft are connected to. So we've got SurveyMonkey down the bottom here. We can add that in as a tab, enter our credentials, and then whenever we go into this channel, we can access the particular survey that we're doing as part of this project. Another way that you can extend your team is to add in connectors. Connectors is a way of connecting with an external service and reporting on activity that's happening within that. So RSS feeds and Twitter feeds are a fairly obvious example of applications where things are happening, news is happening, conversations are happening, and you might want to bring that into your conversation within your team so everybody can see what's going on. But there are really sort of loads and loads of different applications that you can hook into and just get reports on what's happening with other applications that your team might be using. And it's a really good way of just keeping up to date with things that are going on. You can also very quickly build your own webhooks. So we've got this incoming webhook connector, and just by building a very simple web service, you can create information or reports or alerts that come straight into your team that again are keeping your team up to date with whatever it is that you're concerned with. So that's the core Teams functionality. One of the things that Microsoft is doing is combining Teams with Skype for Business, and it's bringing a lot of the Skype, in fact, probably all of the Skype for Business functionality into the Teams environment. So Teams is going to be the real sort of workspace that you come into in the morning. It's where you're editing your files, chatting to colleagues, but also it's going to give you the ability to have instant meetings, either telephone meetings or video chats, and really try and be the hub of communication within an organization. So currently, if you want to have a chat with somebody, by chat it's instant messaging service, just like Skype for Business gives you. Then you click on this icon at the top of the screen. What you then see is an interface that's quite different from Skype, really, in that you don't just have a list of your colleagues down the left-hand side, you actually have a list of conversations that you've been taking part in. And these conversations can happen between just you and one other person, or between you and a group of people. And these conversations can be persisted in these conversation groups. So if I look down here, here's a conversation that I was just playing about with Mugs. All of the conversations history is there, and we can dip back into that. If you look at the top though, you have a number of tabs again. So within any of these conversation groups, we have a document library. So this conversation group can have files uploaded, and again, they just live within this group. I can see where the colleagues fit within the organisation. So this is where Office 365 is linked in with Active Directory, and I can see org charts, and I can go into this tab and see chats that these people have had within other teams that we're both members of. Clicking on this, I can even have hooks into other websites or Power BI reports, and there's going to be more functionality coming into these tabs in due course. So it really is much more powerful than Skype in that the conversations are persisted, and you've got much more richness in terms of the content that you can have in there. You go up to the top, again bringing in more Skype functionality. I can very quickly add in an audio call or do a full video conference with the people who are in this group. And if there's more than one person in the group, that will call them all, and we can just have a quick chat as a team. It really is sort of quite good functionality, and there's talk within Microsoft of trying to get companies to replace the Skype for Business functionality within the organization with Teams. So again, Teams just becomes the hub that you go into in the morning to do your work. The third big piece of functionality that you get with Teams is the ability to create meetings. This is really great functionality for bringing people together and having scheduled video or audio conference calls all from within the Office 365 environment. And the lovely thing about it is it's integrated with Outlook calendars. So I can come into here, I can schedule a meeting. So we're going to have a meeting about the next webinar. So create a planning meeting for that. Schedule it for Friday at a sensible time. So 2 PM on Friday. We'll have an hour's meeting, and I can invite a couple of people into that meeting. And there we go. So with the meeting, because it's integrated with Teams, I can add that to a current team and current channel within a team, and then all of the history of that conversations and the participants of the meeting will go into that channel. Or I can just create an ad hoc meeting, which is what I'm going to do here. I then schedule the meeting. That sends the invites out to everybody's Outlook calendars, and that's a job done really. If I now go into Outlook and into my calendar, you'll see that the meeting's already been created and dropped into my calendar here. I can double click that. There's all the meeting details, and straight from within the meeting invite, I can jump right into the meeting. And as other people join the meeting, they'll appear here. We've got all of the Skype for Business tools, so we can start the video camera, we can share our desktops, and it really is a very good free to users of Office 365 facility to create very quick and easy video conferences within your organization. So that's the three core components of Microsoft Teams. You have the teams, which are the areas, including channels where you can organize your colleagues and do your work and collaborate together. You've got the chat, where you can have persistent chat with groups of people. And then you have the meetings where you can properly schedule video conference or audio emails with all the supporting functionality that you have there within your organization. The other couple of buttons on the left-hand side here really bring together the information across all of your teams and meetings and chats. So we go into activity. The drop down here gives you a couple of different views of things that have been going on. If I go into team activity, This then summarises all of the things that have been going on with the teams that I'm a member of. I can quickly scan down and have a look for any recent work or recent updates. My activity, this shows the things that I've been doing over the last few days. So obviously lots of stuff in preparation for the webinar, but generally documents that I've uploaded, chats that I've been involved with. So it's really great to start the day going into activity, have a quick look at what's been going on, and this is a real advantage in that all of this activity is happening without stuffing up your inbox with even more emails that you have to then trawl through and delete and file and organize. It's all just stored for you here within Teams. And then you have the files view down the bottom. And this is a summary of all the files that you've been working on recently. So one of the things with Microsoft Teams is that lots of activity can go on in lots of different teams, and there's no real sort of structure to how they're put together. You have the teams and then the channels within them, but compared with SharePoint, where you can really get a highly structured view of the organization and what's gone on, the top level structuring of Microsoft Teams doesn't really exist. So it's great to be able to come into here and just scan through and have a look for recent files that you've been working on. Everything's referenced all in the same place. So Teams is just one of a number of apps that are available to you within your Office 365 subscription. We've got lots of clients which are now really starting to get to grips with these tools, and they're really starting to give good benefits to all of their staff and users in terms of the collaboration and the joined up working that they can do with them. If you want to find out more, please visit our website, which is amtevolve.com. There's all sorts of useful articles and videos on there, or please give us a ring or send us an email through the site. We'd love to show you some more about what these technologies can do for your organisation. Have a look also at the other webinars that are recorded and online, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.